Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and I'm here to do my traditional 1 week video with this Xiaomi Mi 11. This is going to be my FAQ video for this phone. Now, I've done my full review already, and if you want the most in-depth review of this phone, go and check it out. I've loved my time with this Xiaomi Mi 11, from the design, the display, the Snapdragon 888 performance, terrific dual speakers and cameras that I think maybe are probably the most disappointing aspect of this phone. They're not really next-gen cameras, but they're still very solid cameras, and the video stabilization is impressive as well. And so let's go right into it, guys. The first question of this FAQ, Frankie Tech, how is your Mi 11 holding up after that crazy dunking you did? And in case you haven't seen it, I did one of the most risky videos I think I've ever done on the channel. I dropped this Mi 11 in water, but I was actually curious to see, because you know, these Xiaomi phones never have IP ratings, but you always wonder if they actually do have some sort of waterproofing. And yet after 2 drops in water, this Xiaomi Mi 11 has held up perfectly fine. I've had no issues with call quality or the speakers whatsoever. And what I wanted to do here is show you inside the actual SIM tray so you can have a look at what I was talking about. So you see there's my SIM card itself, and here you can actually see this little ridge that I'm talking about is kind of the rubbery gasket part. It's not so big, and I don't think that it's actually as significant as the gaskets you see on full waterproof phones. So just take that what you will. It definitely is not something I would recommend you do, but I think it's that tiny little rubber seal right there that prevented water coming into the phone. Beyond that, guys, no issues with charging. The speakers still sound terrific, and overall, this phone is pretty much as good as new. No issues after dropping this phone in water twice. The second question I've gotten has been more about the design of the phone and which phone you may want to select. So a lot of you guys may now have seen that there is another version of the back of this phone, this kind of leathery purple or golden back. And the question is, Frankie Tech, should I pick up the leather version of this phone, or do you prefer this kind of matte glass back? Now, I myself definitely am glad that I made this selection, because you know what? There's nothing more sleek and beautiful than matte glass backs. And this blue, especially from Xiaomi, just looks so beautiful. I think this is the best color, and this is the best finish as well. And I've seen in some recent videos the purple leather back, while looking kind of cool, and yes, there have been phones like the Find X2 Pro that have done it right, apparently feels a little bit more cheap and not as premium as an actual leather back. And so that's why I'm going to make the recommendation, go for the glass. And I think this blue color is amazing, but you can really not go wrong with any of the colors that Xiaomi has delivered here, but definitely the matte glass back with Gorilla Glass Victus on the back is the one that I would recommend. The next question pertains to performance, specifically RAM management. I think there's no question that I've gotten more of recently. Frankie Tech, have you experienced any RAM management issues with this phone? And my short answer is no. I have not. And in my typical use of how I use a phone, I have not experienced any of these RAM management issues that others have complained about. Now, one thing I will mention is that yes, because this did ship with MIUI 12.0.12, it maybe is not as optimized as it will eventually be. And because of that, some may be experiencing those RAM management issues. But I can tell you in my experience, and let me just open up some apps really quickly. I really don't want to do a speed test with this phone, guys, and I don't believe in speed tests anymore. I think they are completely bogus. And other than RAM management and apps loading, I don't think these tests really show too much in terms of what you will experience with a phone. So let's go ahead. We've opened a few apps now, and now let's just go back here to Geekbench. That didn't reload. Let's go to GSM. There you see the box is still up there. Didn't reload. And let's go to weather. Didn't reload. So that's, you know, no scientific test here. But in my experience, like I said, the way I've been using this phone, I have not had any RAM management issues. And if you really are concerned about RAM management, then just go ahead and pick up the 12 gig option. There is an option available, but personally, I feel that 8 gigs of RAM on this Mi 11 is more than enough. And remember, it is DDR5 RAM on this phone. I think you'll be fine with the RAM experience of this phone. And once this does get the 12.5 update, it will only get better. But that does segue into my next question. Frankie Tech, when will we receive the 12.5 update if we do purchase a Mi 11? And as you can see right now, I'm running MIUI 12.0.12. And according to the website, a number of phones on December 28th were open to the beta program of MIUI 12.5. So I think if you do have one of those older devices, you can enroll into that beta program. But as it relates to the Mi 11, you're going to be waiting until April for the official 12.5 update on this phone. And that's a bit of a bummer because it is such a huge update with a lot of new features that I think are going to only make this Mi 11 experience even better. But as you can see, even these smaller updates have increased system stability and reduced system lag as well. I don't think this is the last update that I'm going to get to this Mi 11, but now you have a better understanding of the timeline of when you can expect that software release. And another question relates to the cameras of this device. Frankie Tech, this Mi 11 doesn't have a telephoto. Is that a deal breaker? You know, to be honest, I'm actually pretty impressed with the zoom capabilities of this Mi 11. And if you look at my recent camera tests, you'll see that the quality of the zoom shots from this phone, while maybe not as sharp or as good as the ones on the very optimized Mi 10T Pro, still did a pretty stellar job. Clearly, Xiaomi is waiting to include a really high quality telephoto in the Mi 11 Pro. So if having a telephoto is your priority, then wait for that phone. The way I see it, guys, this Mi 11 is kind of like the regular iPhone 12, which has an ultra wide and has a great main camera, but it's lacking that telephoto that you need to pay up for to get the 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max to use. Is it a deal breaker to not have the telephoto on the iPhone 12? I don't think it is, and a lot of people are very happy with the camera quality of that phone. That's the same deal here with this Mi 11. I think you'll be very happy with the cameras on a day-to-day basis of this phone. But yes, if you want the next generation major updates, including telephoto, then wait for the 11 Pro. And the last question of this FAQ, and I think this is the one that you guys are asking the most, Frankie Tech, when can we expect the global release of this Xiaomi Mi 11? I'm going to be completely honest, guys. As of right now, I have no information and have not received any type of information about when this phone is going to release globally. Now, we have seen Xiaomi preview that there will be a global release of this Mi 11. The reality is we're about to see a bunch of phones with the Snapdragon 888, like the Galaxy S21 series, coming on January 14th. And I think by the end of the month, you'll see a number of other releases with this chipset. But let's face it, in Xiaomi's eyes, they've already released this phone in China, so they are officially the first ones out of the gate. And so I think at this point, they're probably not rushing the release of the global version of this phone. So I'm going to predict the first week of February is when we're going to see this Xiaomi Mi 11 become available globally. Now, I do hope it's sooner because I know a lot of you guys are very excited about this phone coming to your markets with a global ROM, of course. But I will say this China ROM version of the phone is probably the most global type version of the software that I've ever seen. Installing Google apps was a cinch. It took literally 1 minute, just downloading Google from the Mi Store, and then I was good to go. And I think Gaps automatically installed on this device once you did download the Play Store. In the end, guys, this is the phone that costs that $600 price you've been hearing about. But let's face it, with third parties, you're never going to get that price. And when this phone does release globally, it definitely will cost a bit more, I think. So only time will tell, but I guess if you really need to get a Mi 11 as soon as possible, then definitely check out the links from my buddies Keymobile. They have all the latest listings of third parties that are selling this Xiaomi Mi 11 right now. Go check them out. So that's it for this one, guys. And, you know, one weekend, once again, loving this phone. Going to continue using this phone. And stay tuned for more great content here on this Mi 11. And do also let me know what other types of videos you'd like to see now that we've hit 1 week with this Xiaomi Mi 11. But hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on this Mi 11? And are you liking this phone more or less since release? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching all my Xiaomi Mi 11 coverage this past week. It's been a big one on the channel, so I do appreciate all the support. And this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one.